I bet you've seen those beautiful autumnal wreaths and thought, oh, I don't need one, I don't need to buy one. But what if you could make one for basically free? That price you can justify. So let me show you how to make a beautiful autumnal wreath for your autumn decor this year. First things first, we're going hunting for supplies.
Not a bad spot to be hunting for free supplies. We're out looking for pine cones.
It's safe to say that I found some pine cones. You may already have most of these supplies in your crafting stash, which makes this such an affordable project. This wreath I bought last year for £1.50. The price per use is down to about 50p. I'm going to use some autumnal coloured paint, pliers, a small paintbrush and a glue gun. The first step will take a little bit of time, and that is simply taking off some of the top of the pine cones to create that flower shape underneath. This will take a little bit of time, so get yourself an audiobook, put some TV on, or just enjoy the process. So I've got a selection of the different pine cones that I've found. You can see that we've got these pretty flower shapes already in various sizes. So you're going to take your pliers and simply pull off the branches. I'm going to call these branches, I don't know if they're branches, that you don't need. You're going to have quite the pile at the end of them. It's going to be a bit messy. Get a dustpan and brush, not a problem. You want to get quite low down to the bottom of the pine cone because that is when it starts to flatten out. It will look nicer when it's attached to the wreath if it's a bit flatter. I'm actually using a combination of pliers and jewellery cutters. I'm sure they've got a professional name, because this helps grab on to some of the looser bits that aren't coming out with these sort of more chunky pliers. Are you a buyer or a DIYer of things like seasonal wreaths? Sometimes DIYing seems like you're saving money because you haven't got that big initial outlay. But actually when it comes to then going and getting all the supplies, it can really add up. Now the nice thing is, if you don't find many pine cones, you don't have to cover the whole wreath with pine cones. You could do an accent side, you could do the bottom half, you could make it asymmetrical. And if you did it like that, you would save time and materials. And when time is of the essence, it's time to break away from these ones and crack out the big boys. If you really want to go budget friendly, you can leave these completely natural and it will still be a really beautiful wreath. I, however, am going to add a splash of colour with some autumnal colours, some reds, some yellows, some oranges. Could give that bright pop of colour and a welcome on my front door. If you haven't got the paints that you want, you can also use pens. As long as you seal it, then it will look great on your front door. And mine is in a covered porch, so it will be even better protected. And I didn't buy these paints for this project, so again that helps with the it's almost free, not a lot of money projects. But because these are not going to have to withstand a lot of bashing and crashing into them as you would with, painting a table or something like that, you don't need to get the fanciest paints in the world, especially if you do a good job sealing them, so they'll be protected. Typically you always need more of anything when you're making something than you expect. So I have chopped up lots of pine cones. Will I need them all? I don't know. I feel like I've got a lot more than I need, which might mean that I end up with just about the right amount. Sometimes even then it's still not enough. It's quite tricky to say, especially until they're glued in place. I won't know exactly how much space I will have. So that's my orange round of paint done. And onto the darker red. This one is so lovely. It's a really rich, dark autumnal colour. so it should have a nice contrast to the brighter orange of the terracotta colour. Whoa, that is a beautiful colour. That is exactly the autumnal colour that I was hoping for. Now, don't mind the cat, she's just wondering where her human had got to. And if you're into the autumnal look but maybe more a fan of florals or berries, then you should check out the video at the end of 2 autumn wreaths I made last year, going foraging in the local countryside. They are really beautiful, and especially with berries, they just add such a lovely bright splash of colour. And if you're happy covering up the centre bit as well, then actually you could do this much quicker if you were spray painting to get them all coloured quickly. I do enjoy the painting process though, so for me this is not a hardship, but if you're in a rush, spray painting is always a good choice. Now, this colour is a bit of a funny one because I'm not actually sure that I like it. We're going to do a test and see. It is pretty good autumnal colour. It's kind of a dirty yellowy brown. I'm selling it, I know. But I think it might make a really nice contrast against the red and the orange. So even though I don't love it as a colour, I think it could work well. After mixing it up, it's actually nicer than I remember, so I think it might be fine. We'll find out in a second. The last of my really giant pine cones, so let's see how this goes. Even though they are still drying, let's see how these colours look together. So I am questioning, do I want a bright red in this mix? I feel like the answer is no, but I'm going to do a test on one of my broken pieces. So I've gone with the brighter red. I like it. I don't know how much it's going to change the feel of the wreath from a sort of moody pastel-y autumny colours to a punch of red right there. But I do really like it, so I'm going to do a few and see how it feels. Onto glue gun assembly to finally complete this wreath and get it all together. And it's also a good idea to put some on the inside of the wreath, as it just makes it look a little bit fuller. And check that the points where you think you've put the glue is actually where it's going to be attaching, because if it's slightly wonky and not straight down, then actually you might want to have glue on the side of the pine cone rather than the bottom. And now I can use my little half pine cone as well. In fact, this will fit in perfectly on the inside of the wreath to bulk it out a little bit without having to leave the whole piece. And if you're not sure if you like the natural pine cones mixed in with the painted ones, once it's attached, well, you can quite easily go in and paint those bits as well, and then you've got a completely painted wreath. It's just up to you. How beautiful has this pine cone wreath turned out? I just love the different autumnal colours. It is muted colours, but just a little bit of extra brightness to welcome people to my front door. And as for did I have the right amount of pine cones? Just 2 left, so pretty perfect. Very happy with that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, thanks very much. Bye.